Hey everybody, Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk, April 7th, spring break for a lot of people, and we're into a full new week of April. Wow, did we get a lot of volatility, a lot of crazy stuff Thursday, Friday, and even this morning. Let's kind of go through what's been happening. Obviously, what set the market on the path that it is were the tariff announcements, and not just the number of tariffs, but the breadth and depth of the tariffs also. Now, what we saw Thursday and Friday was in the neighborhood of about 3,500 points lost in the Dow Industrial Average. That equated to about $5.6 trillion of wealth evaporated, temporarily moved, gone, all those different things. It's a pretty astonishing number when you look at it. So Thursday, we gained a huge amount of ground in the bond market as we saw the flight to safety from equities to bonds. Friday started out that way also, but wow, once we got to the afternoon, saw a complete reversal and basically lost all our gains from the day before. It was pretty crazy to watch on the technical side. Now this morning, watching the pre-market was down near about 900. By the time the market opened, it was more of about 450, 500. And what that did is it's causing the yields to rise again on the bond market. A couple things were the cause of those items. Um, so there was an interview on CNBC by previous Fed Chair uh, Brainard. She spoke on CNBC this morning and upset the market, to say the least. She explained that the inflation data that we'll get this week will be truly backward looking, and the Fed will care more about what is to come with tariff data and impact rather than the quote dated inflation numbers we get from PPI and CPI later on this week. Additionally, she indicated the Fed is reactionary. They would respond to the rising inflation first, as it will take longer for the economy to slow. That means they are likely not going to cut rates until later because they can't cut rates with inflation rising. Yields moved higher on these comments. So last week we saw potentially, according to the CBOE, potentially 5 rate cuts this year, which was, to say the least, quite euphoric. Now we're seeing a pullback of that, and the futures market for rate cuts took a dive this morning, especially in some of these comments. And with what's kind of understanding the full impact of tariffs and bonds and equities and how those markets are moving right now. So we're going to wait to see. Right now the highest betting average for rate cuts is, I believe, the June meeting. So this week, it is an important week. We get mortgage applications on Wednesday, what will be a very important 10-year bond auction, and the Fed minutes from the previous meeting. Thursday, we get initial jobless claims, continuing claims. We get consumer price index and a 30-year bond auction after the CPI data. Then Friday wraps up with PPI data. I'll be very curious to follow the action on the bond market with these auctions, after we get this inflation data. Now, on a technical side, the bonds, a 10-year bond this morning, as I'm looking at it, it's all the way up to 4.11. In perspective, on Thursday, we got down, we touched 3.87. So it's a pretty big range of what these bonds have been trading in. Mortgage-backed securities are down 25 basis points. So when you look at resistance levels of both mortgage-backed securities and bonds, the bonds went down and smacked against the resistance level yesterday and this morning, and have bounced up, like I said, the 10 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities ran up against their topside resistance of 101.5 and have fallen quite dramatically from that height. So we're going to wait to see what happens this week. Got a lot going on. Hopefully, you were able to get your offers accepted and locked over the weekend. We did get a couple of them, got some buyers great interest rates before the market moved. based on our knowledge, experience, and counsel. We'll be happy to help you out, break all this down, and make sure you get the best financing and counsel for what's going on in the market. Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk, your original singular market news source, NMLS 157524. You can reach us at 616 293 2189. Have a great afternoon.